Hi everybody, this is Toffee bringing you chapters 4 and 5 of my Cerulean Crescent 100% growth LTC. This is a double arrive map which is a rather offensive objective, and those are where CC's broken mobility options really shine. We also need to recruit 2 new units, and this is also the site of Johnny Spice's quest. Everybody except Yvette has a part to play in this chapter. The boss on the left is a recruitable unit who we get by defeating. Mins will boost Gecko forward to handle that objective. The other recruitable is obtained by visiting the village in the bottom right. Thankfully, both new units start very close to the spots we need to visit for Spice's quest. Our new unit on the left is Eosif the Cyclops. For defeating him, Gecko gets a flavor skill called The Best. Eosif's PRF is the Rockstock, a 3-7 range weapon that gives him a second action after use. Yup, he's actually our first siege weapon user of the run. He comes with the skill Assassinate and Waylay, which gives him +6 attack when he's on terrain. We want to train Eosif up to level 10 for a side objective in chapter 17. The practical details of how his skill works means that he's not actually going to snowball the way Gecko will, and instead will help get side objectives. Here, he uses the leyline to sneak in a kill, thanks to the attack boost from Waylay, before he visits the spot on the left for Spice's quest. The Ellery dance formation will be Oriana, Tower, Pomelo, and Riker. Telon started with the Plucker's Gift so he could complete an important side objective, grabbing the harpoon dropped by the White on the cliff. He uses the item drop to convoy up the Plucker's Gift back. The harpoon is a 2-3 range powerful but heavy lance, and gives Ellery even more flexibility in positioning. We also want to work on grinding it down for chapter 13. We use our leeway to feed Riker a total of 3 kills on this map. Riker and Raylan are going to be the 2 units who seize the switches, since with Canto Plus they can grab the switch after killing the enemy on it. We ship Plucker's Gift over to Raylan, because then, with a shove on Chalice, we can boost her to exactly 9 tiles away from the first switch with the rescue staff. Our first use of Warp saves only 1 turn, but that's about what we can expect from the Warp staff in this game. Lindros hits level 6, which will help on the next map. Oriana will then visit the village to recruit Vermilion. He's a chicken. Chickens have 10 move. Vermilion is built like a weak glass cannon, and we won't bother investing him for now. He has Lock Touch, Canto Plus, and Poison Strike. We do eventually need to train him to unlock an optional chapter, but that won't be as hard as you might think. His PRFs are Feather Fury, which confers immunity to ranged attacks and also prevents counters both ways, and Astral Strike, which will cause him to attack 5 times with a good crit chance. He visits the other spot for Spice's quest, which is a prerequisite for a future recruitable unit. That'll be chapter 4 in 1 turn. Chapter 5 is another offensive map where we need to kill 4 bosses. One of them is a super boss who we're not intended to fight until an event on turn 4, but never doubt the capacity of LTCers who rig to pull off degenerate feats. Riker will be our super boss killer, and we will be giving him the Sanctuary and the Fire Emblem for this. To deal with the boss in the bottom right, we will send Plucker's Gift Gecko on a solo mission. The boss on the top left, Lindros will jump there to deal with her. Our Ellery formation will be Riker, Raylan, Chalice, and Vince, though Chalice will need to be shoved into position. This is because she heals Riker back to full after his level up to reactivate Sanctuary. We're lucky that Riker's EXP worked out that he leveled up here rather than later in the map. Our three new units on the left are Rohesia, Marlowe, and Crinia. Rohesia is a 7-move unit who comes with the skill Decapitate, which guarantees a critical hit on player face, though funnily enough she will never make use of it in this run. Instead, she will use the Fancy Stabber she comes with, which is a 1-2 range physical sword that grants Canto Plus and Can't Crit on this map and the next. The Fancy Stabber is a very valuable tool at B swords, and is the reason why we want Gecko to hit that sword rank benchmark, so that she can have access to 1-2 range without burning up limited magic swords. We are a bit trigger happy with the warp staff here, but we won't be breaking it out for a couple of maps after this. We first warp Riker into position in the bottom left. Raylan goes there to grab a hammer drop on enemy face from a fighter. We will then warp Ellery carrying Chalice close to Riker with Tower. This is the last time you'll be seeing Tower for quite a while. Ellery talks to the kid to get one of the most important items in the run, the Gambler's Folly. Normally this item gives you a random positive or negative status effect as a free action, but in a run like this we can guarantee the positive status effects. I actually have a Quality of Life patch by Algian active, which lets me pick the effect I want from a menu instead of rigging it by hand each time. Here, Ellery will use it to give herself an attack boost to kill the one enemy who will attack her, before dropping Chalice on that specific spot to activate Malediction on the super boss. Marlowe has the skills you see on screen, but in our run, his sole contributions will be trading his Fireball over to Lindros, and as a mounted unit who can be carried by Oriana. I didn't mention it earlier, but different kinds of Anma magic have different ranges. Thunder magic tends to be 1-2 range, while Fire magic is usually 1 range locked, and Wind magic is usually 2 range locked. Crinia is a trainee with a skill that causes her to do more damage on player face to enemies, scaling with the enemy's HP by 25%, and take 25% less damage on enemy face. She's a game over unit on this map, but actually gets a free resurrection in chapter 10 if she happens to die between now and then. It doesn't accomplish anything to kill her off in the interim though. Yosef shows off his expertise at breaking boxes from afar. Mince will swap spots with him to grab the kill on the mercenary. Riker will use Gambler's Folly to give himself plus 50 hit and crit and kill the mobile boss before cantoing in front of the super boss. We wanted to ensure he would be at full HP so that Sanctuary would be active, which lets him take 1 hit from the super boss. The super boss does count as an armored unit, so the heavy spear and a crit will let Riker punch through. I'll let the enemy face play out, that'll be chapter 5 in 1 turn.